Hallo, hallo, tut mir mega leid, es gab mega die Verzögerung. Aber jetzt solltet ihr sehen, was ich sehe. Ich weiß nicht, woran es lag, aber die Veranstaltung geht jetzt los. Wir kriegen es jetzt alles mit. Ja, Artemis II.
Look at that sea of blue. Let's give them another round of applause.
Und ihr habt, eure Augen haben vielleicht schon ESA-Astronauten in dieser Gruppe gesehen.
It's difficult to pick just four from a group that by its very definition attracts the best and the brightest that humanity has to offer. The astronaut corps, our entire astronaut corps, will be the forerunners as humanity looks to find its place among the stars. So that while we may be recognizing four individuals today, I want to thank the entire astronaut corps for their dedication and sacrifice as we ask them to strap into our current and future spacecraft, take those next steps to do the things that are hard so that others might follow behind them. Now,
Artemis II, der erste Flug zum Mond mit Menschen seit Apollo 17, 1972. 50 Jahre, über 50 Jahre.
Well, know this, your Artemis II crew members are already here in the room with you. But because I love you all, I'm going to give you one hint. I am not one of them. Don't be so happy about that.
with Artemis I, we set out to prove that the hardware was ready. The SLS was prepared to launch our astronauts skyward. That Orion was equipped to carry them to the moon and back safely again. Artemis I was a resounding success, and Artemis II will leverage that by putting humans in the loop, executing operations in the critical path, leading to new footprints on the lunar surface.
Ja, dann mit Artemis III wieder Menschen auf dem Mond. Heute die Auswahl der Artemis II-Astronauten, die also erstmal einmal um den Mond herumfliegen werden, so Apollo 8-Style im Prinzip. Und hier Bilder von Artemis I. Raumschiff und Rakete, die einzige einsatzbereite Technik, die aktuell Menschen zum Mond fliegen könnte. Und mit europäischer Technik, European Service Module, haben wir gerade eben gesehen.
This flight will be challenging, but we face that challenge with the confidence that the people working beside us are up to the task. Houston is home for us, and it's where we'll plan, train, and ultimately fly the Artemis II mission. To give us a proper Houston welcome, please join me in bringing out JSC Center Director
Die Veranstaltung heute ist in Houston.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone here today to Ellington Field. NASA's Johnson Space Center is home of America's Astronaut Corps, mission operations, and foundational human spaceflight programs. This past December, we witnessed history as the Orion capsule journeyed on a 1.4 million mile journey around the moon and back. And the excitement continues as we prepare for Artemis II for the first time with crew. We've made many giant leaps in the past 60 years, fulfilling President Kennedy's goal of landing a person on the moon. And today, we stand on the shoulders of giants as we reach farther into the stars and push forward to the moon once again and on to Mars. These individuals of Artemis II crew will be the first humans to fly to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years. Yes.
Wurde aber auch Zeit.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize those who paved the way, our Apollo legends, who are with us via the NASA Alumni League. Will you please wave? We are also honored to be joined by some special guests. Please help me welcome NASA leadership, Administrator Bill Nelson, Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy, Associate Administrator Bob Cabana, and many of our NASA leaders who are from headquarters and all across our agency. We're also pleased to be joined by the international community. Representing the Canadian Space Agency is Minister Champagne.
Ja, heute 3 NASA-Astronauten und ein kanadischer
Through our international partnerships under Artemis,
Astronaut.
we're building a global alliance that explores deep space for the benefit of all. I'd also like to welcome the following elected officials: Senator Ted Cruz, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Congressman Brian Babin, Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher, the Comptroller of Texas, Glenn Hager, the Mayor Pro Tem of Houston, Dave Martin, and many other elected officials. Thank you. We're very appreciative of your continued support. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to give a shout out to the NASA workforce and all of those across the agency who came together to make this a very exciting moment and this moment in history happen. So thank you to our workforce.
Könnt gerne in den Chat schreiben, wen ihr schon alles erkannt habt.
Joining us today are directors of our
JAXA und
NASA
ESA-Astronauten habe ich auch
centers. Will
gesehen.
you please stand? So my colleagues. This mission represents the culmination of years of hard work and dedication by NASA and its partners. This is an exciting time for those working on the International Space Station, commercial crew, commercial LEO destinations, as we continue using those platforms and conduct deep space exploration with the Orion, Gateway, Human Landing System, and EVA programs. Together, our team of civil servants and contractors are enabling the success of the Artemis program. And this is only the beginning. For the students with us today from Houston and Clear Creek Independent
ich meine, ich habe
School
Luca
Districts
Parmitano
and those watching,
gesehen.
you are the future explorers, the future scientists, engineers, inventors, and mathematicians of the Artemis generation. Under Artemis, we will explore the frontiers of space and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Rajachari habe ich auch auf jeden Fall
You
gesehen.
may walk
Und
on the
Kayla
moon
Barron.
or be one of the many explorers who venture onward to Mars. We're all looking forward to you being a part of our mission, and I can't wait for you and everyone to meet our Artemis II crew. Thank you.
Kushito Wakata, glaube ich, als JAXA-Astronaut habe ich.
The Artemis program is guided by decades of experience from sending humans to outer space. We're building new rockets, new spacecraft, new communication systems, and new ways to operate in deep space. But it isn't the technology that is changing. We've also learned that in order to go farther, we have to go together. Please join me in welcoming Minister François-Philippe Champagne. He's with us here from Canada, one of our steadfast partners in human spaceflight, ready to send one of their own to the moon.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Joe, and good morning,
Joe ist
everyone.
übrigens der
Bonjour
Chef
tout le monde.
des NASA-Astronauten
C'est un grand privilège
Corps.
d'être ici pour représenter Canada. What an honor to be here today to represent Canada on this historic day. In his recent visit to Ottawa, President Biden said this: Canada and the U.S. can do big things because we do them together. And indeed, Indeed, 50 years after the end of the Apollo missions, we are going back to the moon. Back to the moon. Think about that for a moment. The moon. As minister responsible for the Canadian Space Agency, I know Canadians could not be more proud. Proud to have for the first time a Canadian astronaut who will travel to deep space as part of the Artemis II mission. Proud that we will be contributing to the future of the Lunar Gateway with the unique Canadian innovation, Canadarm3.
Der Canadarm 3, ja, an dem Lunar Gateway.
Operate a lunar utility vehicle to support operations on the lunar space. And proud of the 60-year plus of collaboration between NASA and the Canadian Space Agency, a partnership which is fueled by bold initiatives and scientific excellence.
Erste Canadarm
And most
war am
importantly,
Space Shuttle, der zweite
Canadians could
an der
not be more
ISS.
proud to share this moment with our American partners and friends which are here today in Houston. We would not be here today without the friendship and close partnership between our two nations. Because this is more than just about going back to the moon. This is about investing in the future. This is about possibilities. This is about seizing the opportunities of the space economy, from health to food security to climate change and much more. So as we embark together on this new space era, let's seize the moment. Let's be ambitious, and together let's inspire the young people watching us to reach for the stars and become the next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers. Merci tout le monde. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Es gibt anscheinend einen französischen Übersetzer, aber der wurde nicht gebraucht, der hat ja Englisch gesprochen. Das Flugzeug, was ihr da hinten übrigens seht, das ein T-78, mit denen trainieren die NASA-Astronauten.
He pumped me up. That was nice. Next up is a group of people who need little introduction. Our agency leaders who know firsthand what it takes to fly in space. Please join me in welcoming NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, Deputy
War auch
Administrator
Astronaut
Pam
Bill
Melroy,
Nelson
and Associate Administrator Bob Cabana.
im Space Shuttle ins All geflogen.
Hey everybody, members of the NASA family and the Canadian Space Agency, my colleagues, my former colleagues, members of Congress, members of the Artemis generation, we are going. Pam, Bob, and I operate as a team, as a crew. And we are here today to introduce you to the crew that will launch next year, 2024, to another celestial body. The largest, most powerful rocket in the world is going to propel them onward and upward into the heavens. And they fly to the moon. This is Artemis II-Mission. It's a mission that is significant in many ways. It's a demonstration of our ability to push the boundaries of human achievement. It's a testament to the unwavering passion of the team that will make it possible. And it's a message to the world.
Jessica Watkins sehe ich.
We choose to go back to the moon and then on to Mars, and we're going to do it together. Because in the 21st century, NASA explores the cosmos with international partners. We will unlock new knowledge and understanding.
Mr.
We've
Giga fragt das
always
gerade.
dreamed about what more is ahead. Why? Because it's in our DNA. It's part of us. It's who we are as adventurers, as explorers, as frontiers people. And throughout history, humankind has gazed up at this celestial body, the moon, with wonder. And the space program propelled the moon to the forefront of culture and consciousness.
Ja, gibt wenig, was mich so beeindruckt hat, wie als Teenager oder ja, Grundschüler eigentlich zum Mond zu schauen und mir vorzustellen, dass da Leute drauf gelaufen sind.
Of our can-do spirit. And over the course of the Artemis missions, the first woman and the first person of color will take giant leaps on the lunar surface. It's been more than a half century since astronauts journeyed to the moon. Well, folks, that's about to change.
Koichi
The
war gerade
mission to
vorne
the moon will
Jagdastronaut.
launch 4 pioneers.
Zwei
But it
Jagdastronauten.
will carry more than astronauts. Artemis II will carry the hopes of millions of people around the world. It will carry the aspirations of the NASA family who glance up at the moon every night, knowing their efforts will return us to the moon. And it will carry the dreams of students who burn the midnight oil in libraries and laboratories, preparing one day to support an Artemis mission. And it'll carry the inspiration of the children who imagine themselves soaring in the skies. We will show what is possible when we dare to reach distant cosmic shores. The crew was selected by the Director of Flight Operations, Norm Knight, and the Chief Astronaut.
Ja, ich weiß noch, wie unbefriedigend das war, als ich meinen Vater gefragt habe, warum war man denn in den 60er, 70er Jahren auf dem Mond und jetzt nicht mehr. Und bis vor nicht allzu langer Zeit gab es gar kein Programm, was vorgesehen hat, wieder zum Mond zurückzufliegen, geschweige denn irgendwie weiter heraus.
And I want to acknowledge again our Canadian partners, Minister Champagne, Francois Philippe, will you please come up, please?
Also, falls ihr jetzt erst einschaltet, heute werden die 4 Astronauten festgelegt oder veröffentlicht, die zum ersten Mal seit über 50 Jahren zum Mond fliegen werden. Werden nicht landen, sondern drumherum fliegen, aber trotzdem ganz was anderes als niedriger Erdorbit. Ja, bitte. Er fragt, ob er die Astronauten vorstellen darf.
She's an engineer who got her start at Goddard and is no stranger to breaking records, logging the longest continuous space flight ever by a woman, your mission specialist, Christina Hammett-Koch.
Also Rekordhalterin für den längsten Flug. Michelle Cook als Missionsspezialist. Ich nehme an, es werden 2 Missionsspezialisten sein, ein Pilot und ein Commander, ähnlich wie es bei den Dragon-Flügen auch ist.
He is a Master of Science in Physics, an F-18 pilot, and a Canadian astronaut. Your mission specialist, Jeremy Hansen.
Dann bin ich ja jetzt gespannt, wer Pilot und Commander ist. Also hier haben wir unseren kanadischen Vertreter, Jeremy Hansen, ist 47 und Astronaut der kanadischen Raumfahrtagentur. Christina guckt, oh, ich weiß es gar nicht, wie alt sie ist. Falls es jemand weiß, gerne in den Chat schreiben. Oh! Victor Glover kennen wir von Crew, ich müsste spicken. Crew 2? Ich weiß es nicht auswendig. Crew 1. My bad, sorry.
He's a decorated naval aviator, test pilot, and leader of the highest character. Your Artemis II commander, Reed Wiseman.
Reed Wiseman. Ich sag gleich zu den einzelnen Astronauten das. Ja, krass. Also diese 4 Menschen werden zum Mond fliegen und um den Mond herumfliegen mit NASA Artemis II, mit einem European Service Module und der aktuell stärksten einsatzbereiten Rakete, dem SLS. Hansen, Glover, Wiseman und Koch. Waren alle schon im All? Ich glaube alle nur einmal. Also Hansen ist mit Soyuz geflogen, Glover mit Crew 1, Koch mit auch Soyuz, meine ich. Wiseman war zweimal, ist mit 40, ISS-Expedition 40 und... Ah ne, Quatsch, nee, einmal. Soyuz war über 2 Missionen. Sorry, hat nicht so.
Christina and Jeremy, I am so proud to have you 4 standing here in this moment. You are the right crew for this mission. You are the future of Artemis, and it looks bright with you at the controls. As head of flight operations, I have the privilege of getting to know each and every astronaut.
Ich schon wissen, wie lange die das wussten.
The best part of my job.
Ich glaube, da rastest du aus, wenn du das weißt.
I'm surrounded by people who inspire, who give hope to those that might follow in their footsteps. Christina, with a work ethic and willingness to lend a hand that only someone who spent their summers working on a farm growing up can have. Your relentless drive is unmatched. You have already made your mark in the remote corners of our planet. You have already
Jeremy Hansen
been
ist
in the history
Erstflieger.
books as a record-setting astronaut. You're a trailblazer and a role model for every generation to come. You've already been advocating and uplifting children in your community, and I know that you are just getting started. And as the only professional engineer in the crew, I know who Mission Control will be calling on when it's time to fix something on board. So we appreciate you. Victor, you wanted to be 100 different things when you grew up, but I can say I'm truly thankful you ended up as a Navy pilot and an astronaut. Like so many, seeing other astronauts take flight planted the seed. And when you heard Pam Melroy speak at a test pilot conference, that was the moment
Der Flug
you
wird
decided
nächstes
to
Jahr sein,
apply. So
20.
Pam, thank you for inspiring others.
24.
Victor, you were the first person in your family to graduate from college, and you always talk about how much of the love and support of those around you made your dreams possible. I can honestly say I have never met anyone as determined as you are to spread that same love and support until everyone who passes into your orbit is better for it. You overcame every obstacle that came your way. Every obstacle, and then you dedicated your life to crushing those obstacles so that future generations can dream in a space unbounded. So thanks, Victor. And finally, Reed, an explorer from the beginning. The forest of your youth might be smaller than the frontier that you're heading for now, but this was always you. It's what you were meant to be. You said for a time you wanted to be a train engineer, but I don't think trains go quite as fast as you need them to, so I wish the Reed of your youth, the ones that, that you're dealing with bullies, dealing with the uncertainties of growing up, could meet you now. Meet the Reed who took his first jet for a spin and knew he was meant to soar across the skies. The Reed who found a home and family in the Navy and here at NASA.
Reed
The Reed who
Wiseman,
led our astronauts into a new era of space exploration.
NASA-Astronaut ausgewählt
And the
worden.
Reed who will lead Artemis II from the Earth to the Moon
2014
and
mit der
safely back
Soyuz
home again.
auf der ISS.
All of you will lead us into this brave new frontier. You are the Artemis generation. We are the Artemis generation.
Wir fliegen wieder zum Mond.
And with that, I will hand it back over to our neighbors to the north to talk about Jeremy, who will take his own place in history.
Jeremy, der Astronaut der kanadischen Raumfahrtagentur.
Well, Jeremy, I'm not going to talk about your early life or your lovely family. I'm not going to talk about your military service and everything you did as a fighter pilot, an F-18 fighter pilot. I'm not even going to talk about what you did as an astronaut and being the first Canadian to go on a lunar mission. I'm going to talk about your humanity and share with the world a story when I was with you at the Kennedy Space Center and I saw the power of the blue suit where we had hundreds of people storming to Jeremy. But Jeremy did one thing. He talked to each and every one. You took the time to talk to all the school children who were there, the Artemis generation, and they are here today and watching us. You took the time to inspire them. You took the time to thank all the teachers who are there to support our kids and teach them STEM skills that will bring them in exploration and being the future astronauts.
Auf diesem Flug.
You took the time to talk to each and every family that were coming from around the world and across North America. What I want to celebrate to you is your humanity. The fact that you have been inspiring not only us today, but keep inspiring humanity. To you, Jeremy, go Canada. Thank you, everyone.
Weil die Frage nach der Frau mehrfach im Chat war, Christina, auf Deutsch würde man sagen Koch.
So here we have it. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. Each of these adventurers has their own story, but together they represent our creed, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. This is the power of space. This is the power of our space program. It unites people. It brings them together. It brings parties together to explore, to discover, to dream. Together we will usher in a new era of exploration for a new generation of star sailors and dreamers, the Artemis generation. Together we are going to the moon, to Mars, and beyond.
Wir gehen zum Mond, zum Mars und darüber hinaus. Und das ist die Aufbruchsstimmung, die die Raumfahrt ganz, ganz dringend braucht.
All right. You've heard from us, so now it's time to hear from your crew. I'm going to clear the stage, and I'm going to turn things over to our Artemis II commander, Reed Wiseman.
Der Commander wird sprechen,
All right, so
Reed Wiseman.
School kids, is it hot in here today? Woo! All right, and I don't think that in my 14 years at NASA, we've had this many astronauts in one place at one time. I'm losing my voice. We're having so much fun backstage. It is great to see this diverse international group. Awesome to be here with you guys. Woo! I'm going to hand it over to the gentleman to my right here, Victor Glover, who has become, in the last few years, an amazing mentor to me. I didn't ask for it. He didn't ask for it. It just happened that way. One of the best leaders I know, one of the best dads, husbands, and friends, and one of the most talented aviators I've ever met. Victor Glover.
Thanks, Reed. I appreciate that. Wow, what a day. Look at all of this. This is amazing, isn't it? I mean, after all of that, I feel like Denzel Washington should be up here talking to you. But you just got us. I want to thank God for this amazing opportunity. And I think I speak for all of us. I want to thank our families for the amazing support. It is your love and support that has made this journey possible. Please give them a round of applause.
Völlig verrückt.
And to all of the folks who made this celebration possible, thank you for your hard work. They're the real ones in here sweating with all of us. But this is a big day. We have a lot to celebrate. And it's so much more than the 4 names that have been announced. We need to celebrate this moment in human history. Because Artemis II is more than a mission to the moon and back. It's more than a mission that has to happen before we send people to the surface of the moon. It is the next step on the journey that gets humanity to Mars. Yeah, you can clap for that. That's good. And this crew will never forget that. Now, we have a lot of work to do before we get there, and we understand that. And when talking about that work, you may often hear people say, human spaceflight is a marathon, not a sprint. But we have watched the people that work so hard to make our mission possible, and I can tell you, it is a series of sprints. That's called a relay race. Human spaceflight is like a relay race. And that baton has been passed generation to generation, and from crew member to crew member. From the Gemini, Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, Soyuz, Skylab, Mir, the Shuttle, International Space Station, commercial crew, and now the Artemis missions. And we understand our role in that. And when we have the privilege of having that baton, we're going to do our best to run a good race to make you proud. I pray that God will bless this mission, but I also pray that we can continue to serve as a source of inspiration for cooperation and peace, not just between nations, but in our own nation. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thanks, Victor. Awesome words. What I wanted to highlight for all of you today is, big picture, when I step back, there are two reasons why a Canadian is going to the moon. That makes me smile when I say that. The first one is American leadership. It is not lost on any of us that the United States could choose to go back to the moon by themselves. But America has made a very deliberate choice over decades to curate a global team.
Amerika könnte alleine auch zum Mond fliegen, es muss keine anderen Menschen, andere Nationen mitnehmen. Aber sie haben sich entschieden, das zu tun.
Others who can contribute, allows them to rise up, lifts them up to make their contributions to bring their genius. That is American leadership. And as a Canadian, I am very proud to reflect that back to you, and I am grateful. All of Canada is grateful for that global mindset and that leadership. So thank you. The second reason is Canada's can-do attitude. For decades now, literally thousands upon thousands of Canadians have risen to that challenge to bring real value to the international partnership with respect to space exploration, to bring real solutions. Our scientists, our engineers, the Canadian Space Agency, the Canadian Armed Forces, across government, all of our leadership working together under a vision to take step by step, and all of those have added up to this moment where a Canadian is going to the moon with our international partnership, and it is glorious. So at the end of it all, I am left in awe of being reminded what strong leadership, setting big goals with a passion to collaborate and a can-do attitude can achieve. And we are going to the moon together. Let's go.
Ja, diese 4 Leute werden zum Mond fliegen.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Reed. It is an honor to be here. I also want to thank our families, the trailblazers, our colleagues, and our leadership. My fellow astronauts know that one of the questions we get all the time is, are you excited? And I can tell you, when I think about this mission that's a relay race with international partners, it's also so awesome in and of itself. We are going to launch from Kennedy Space Center through the work of the Exploration Ground Systems team. We're going to hear the words, "Go for launch," on top of the most powerful rocket NASA's ever made, the Space Launch System. And we're going to ride that rocket for 8 minutes into Earth orbit. We're not going to go to the moon right away. We're going to stay in an amazing high orbit, reaching a peak of tens of thousands of miles while we test out all the systems on Orion and even see how it maneuvers in space.
Schubstärkste
And
Rakete,
then,
nicht die
if everything looks
leistungsfähigste.
good, we're heading to the moon.
Saturn V, mein Baby, hatte die größte Nutzlast bisher.
It will be a 4-day journey, going 250,000 miles, continuing to test out every bit of Orion, going around the far side of the moon, heading home, going through the Earth's atmosphere at over 25,000 miles per hour and splashing down in the Pacific. So, am I excited? Absolutely. But my real question is, are you excited? I see you.
Christina hatte 5 EVA-Einsätze, insgesamt 43 Stunden bei
EVA-Einsätzen
im All gewesen.
Is that we are going to carry your excitement, your aspirations, your dreams with us on this mission, Artemis II, your mission.
2009 sind zur ISS geflogen.
Der
Soyuz war 328 Tage im All. Genomania sagt, er würde alles dafür tun, um mit diesen 4 zu tauschen. Er wäre so neidisch. Definitiv.
Thank you to the Canadian Space Agency, everyone in Europe that's working for this. We got people in Airbus working our European service module. This is a global effort, Artemis II. And it's only going to get larger with Artemis III.
Shoutout an Airbus und das European Service Module.
SpaceX is building our lander for Artemis III. So to the NASA
SpaceX baut den Lander für Artemis III.
Our center directors that are here, the amazing political support that we feel right now to bring our country together, to bring our entire world together to go explore, to get to Mars and beyond. We say a huge thank you. To the astronauts that are over here, a huge thank you. You are our friends, you are our families, you're our colleagues. And I do want to highlight right now, there are 7 folks on the International Space Station. Where's Joel? On Joel's International Space Station, orbiting our planet right now. 3 cosmonauts, 3 Americans, and an Emirati from the United Arab Emirates. If any of you over there are looking for heroes today, go Google these folks, because they're our heroes. And I definitely want to call out our friend Frank Rubio, who has already spent 6 months up there. And Frank is going to spend another 6 months due to
3 Chinesen sind auch gerade aktuell im All.
So he'll be up in space for over an entire year. All right, that man is a hero, for sure.
Wird ja von manchen schon heraufzitiert, das neue Space Race.
His wife and his 4 kids. That family, those are heroes. They are putting it out there and they are getting the job done, and it is amazing. And she still gives us eggs fresh from her chickens at her farm whenever we go over there. I mean, it's totally awesome. The Rubio family is an amazing family. And that brings the 4 of us to our families who are in the audience with us. This is going to be a relay race unlike any you've ever run, and we are so happy to have you with us. Thank you.
Got more you want to say, Reed?
There's 3 words that we keep saying in this Artemis program. We are going, and I want everybody to say it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We are going. Ja, und ihr könnt euren Kindern auch erzählen, ihr wart dabei, als wir wieder zum Mond geflogen sind und alles losging.
I want to thank you all for sharing in this moment today. Thank you to all of our speakers and esteemed guests, and thanks to our crew, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, as they get ready to embark on this journey. I'll ask all of my fellow astronauts to join us back up here. Come on up, everyone.
Christina Koch, Jeremy Roger Hansen, Victor Glover und Reed Wiseman. Die 4 Ausgewählten. In Houston, wo das Astronautenkorps und die Astronautenausbildung der NASA beheimatet ist, spielt es das ab. 3 US-Amerikaner, ein Kanadier werden mit Artemis II nächstes Jahr um den Mond fliegen. Der erste Afroamerikaner und die erste Frau, die über den Erdorbit hinaus, niedrigen Erdorbit hinaus fliegen werden. Und unter den Leuten, die da umarmen, bin ich mir ziemlich sicher, dass da auch die Leute sind, die dann mit Artemis III wirklich auch auf dem Mond landen werden. Lazy sagt, er kann, glaube ich, kein Jahr mehr warten. Ach, das kriegen wir schon noch hin. Ja, Glover, interessant. Ich hätte wahrscheinlich ein bisschen darauf gesetzt, dass er vielleicht unter der Besatzung von Artemis III sein wird. Das wird er nicht sein, wenn er bei Artemis II mitfliegt. Dann vielleicht Jessica Watkins bei der Mondlandung. Santiago fragt, ob es eine Backup-Crew gibt. Auf jeden Fall. Da habt ihr Luca Parmitano gesehen mit der italienischen Flagge. Ist jetzt, glaube ich, der erste ESA-Astronaut, den ich da gesehen habe. Mindestens 2 JAXA-Astronauten habe ich auch gesehen.
I love this office, and as you can see, we love each other. We need a picture.
Also vielleicht Luca Parmitano als bei Artemis III dabei als einer von den beiden, die nicht auf dem Mond fliegen, aber praktisch mit die Mission betreuen.
One of our colleagues in space right now, Steve Bowen, likes to say human spaceflight is the ultimate team sport. When these 4 fly around the moon, they won't be doing it alone. They're part of a team of astronauts, engineers, scientists, trainers, a team of support working around our country and around
Barron,
the
auch eine
globe,
sehr
ready
gute
day and night.
Wette, glaube ich,
So we'll
für
cheer them on.
erste Frau auf
We
dem
will
Mond.
help them carry the incredible weight, and it's a heavy one, now laid on their shoulders, because we go together for all humanity. Thank you.
Ja, Apollo-Moment, würde ich sagen.
I'm Christina Cook. I'm a mission specialist.
I'm Jeremy Hansen. I'm a mission specialist.
I'm Victor Glover. I'm the pilot.
I'm Reed Wiseman. I'm the commander for the Artemis II-Mission to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
Armageddon-Vibes. Orangene Anzüge. Stellt euch mal vor, ihr könntet
When I was young, I had a poster of the Earthrise picture, the famous picture that was taken on Apollo 8. And the fact that it was a human behind the lens that made that picture so profound and changed how we all thought of our own home was so amazing to me. The moon is not just a symbol of thinking about our place in the universe. It's not just a symbol of exploration. It's actually a beacon for science. It's a beacon for understanding where we came from.
You know, pushing ourselves to explore is just core to who we are. It's a part of being a human. That's our nature. We go out there and we explore to learn about where we are, why we are, understanding the big questions about our place in the universe. The exploration we're doing is the first few steps on the path of getting humans to Mars.
The Artemis campaign and missions have set such an ambitious goal for humanity that it's inspiring contributions from around the globe. Not just one nation is inspired and moved by this, but nations from around the globe are coming together.
Ich würde widersprechen, Glover. Nicht die Menschen sind neugierig, sondern Einzelne brechen auf, um den Horizont der Menschheit zu erweitern. Und das dann für die gesamte Menschheit.
But I hope we will look back and realize that this was one tiny step in humans on Mars and a sustained presence on our moon.
Die meisten Menschen bleiben lieber zu Hause, aber die Menschen, die diese Dinge tun, erweitern den Horizont der Menschheit.
And pave the way for NASA's long-term human and scientific presence on the lunar surface.
We are ready.
We are going to the moon for all humanity. We are Artemis.
Sehr geiler Trailer.
"50 years ago, we pioneered a path to the
Apollo.
The trail we blazed, cut through the fictions of science, and showed us all what was possible.
Very pretty out here.
Today, our calling to explore is even greater. To go farther, we must be able to sustain missions of greater distance and duration. We must use the resources we find at our destinations. We must overcome radiation, isolation, gravity, and extreme environments like never before. These are the challenges we face to push the bounds of humanity. We're going to the moon to stay by 2024, and this is how.
This all starts with the ability to get larger, heavier payloads off-planet and beyond Earth's gravity.
For this, we designed an entirely new rocket.
The Space Launch System. SLS will be the most powerful rocket ever developed.
And with components in production.
And more in testing.
This system is capable of being the catalyst for deep space missions.
We need a capsule
that can support humans from launch
through deep space and return safely back to Earth.
For this, we've built Orion.
This is NASA's next-generation human space capsule.
Using data from lunar orbiters that continue to reveal the moon's hazards and resources.
We're currently developing an entirely new approach to landing and operating on the moon.
Using our commercial partners to deliver science instruments and robotics to the surface, we are paving the way for human missions in 2024.
Our charge is to go quickly and to stay, to press our collective efforts forward with a fervor that will see us return to the moon in a manner that is wholly different than 50 years ago.
Also nicht nur kurz mal landen, ein paar Stunden da und wieder hoch, sondern die Missionen sind so gebaut, dass sie überall landen können. Besonders natürlich interessant der Südpol mit ewigem Schatten und Eis.
We call this lunar outpost Gateway.
The beauty of the Gateway is that it can be moved between orbits.
It will balance between the Earth and Moon's gravity.
In a position that is ideal for launching even deeper space missions.
In 2009, we learned that the moon contains millions of tons of water ice.
This ice can be extracted and purified for water. It can be separated in oxygen for breathing or hydrogen for rocket fuel.
The moon is quite uniquely suited
to prepare us and propel us to Mars and beyond.
This is what we are building.
This is what we're training for.
This we can replicate throughout the solar system.
This is the next chapter of human space exploration.
Humans are the most fragile element of this entire endeavor, and yet we go for humanity. We go to the moon and on to Mars to seek knowledge and understanding and to share it with all. We go knowing our efforts will create opportunities that cannot be foreseen. We go because we are destined to explore and see it with our own eyes. We turn towards the moon now, not as a conclusion, but as preparation, as a checkpoint toward all that lies beyond. Our greatest adventures remain ahead of us. We are going.
We're going.
We are going.
We are going.
We're going.
Geil gemacht.
We are going. The history of this agency is marked with broken barriers.
Tolle Bilder.
Once viewed as
Oh, zack. Da haben sie abgebrochen. Dann hole ich mich mal groß dazu. Ja, crazy. Also, die 4 Astronauten, die seit über 50 Jahren das erste Mal wieder zum Mond fliegen, wurden ausgewählt. Völlig verrückt. Also, mehrfach im Chat gelesen von wegen Neid. Vielleicht auch, ja, also dass man denkt von wegen, oh, man würde halt auch gerne mal den Mond aus der Nähe sehen, aber für mich ist es eigentlich einfach Aufregung, dass es da jetzt wirklich mal wieder Menschen dahin fliegen. Also ich habe es vorhin mal kurz gesagt, ich hoffe, ich habe nicht zu viel doof reingequatscht, sondern euch das Gefühl gegeben, dass wir das hier zusammen erleben. Ja, dass ich als Kind zum Mond geguckt habe und mir nicht vorstellen konnte, dass da mal Leute drauf gelaufen sind und alle Bücher über Apollo und die Raumfahrtentwicklung der letzten 50 Jahre verschlungen habe und mir vorzustellen, dass man auf dem Mond stehen kann und da rumhüpfen kann und hat mich unheimlich geprägt. Dieses Apollo-Moment, von dem ich immer rede, nicht ohne Grund ist der hier immer in aller Munde. Und jetzt wurden 4 Astronauten ausgewählt, die dort wieder hinfliegen. Erstmal noch nicht landen mit 2, aber einen Flug drumherum machen und die Hardware im Prinzip, die jetzt ohne Menschen mal getestet wurde mit Artemis I, auch verifizieren, dass man die gut in der Kontrolle hat, um zum Mond zu fliegen und dass eine Crew auch funktioniert und im Prinzip kann man schon so sagen, eine Kostümprobe für dann die Mondlandung. Und diese 4 Astronauten, das ist Christina Koch, Jeremy Hansen, Victor Glover und Reed Wiseman. Victor Glover, Pilot, und Reed Wiseman, Kommandant. Jeremy Hansen von der kanadischen Space Agency ist ein Erstflieger, alle anderen waren schon einmal im All. Victor Glover, der Einzige, der mit einem Crewwagen geflogen ist. Koch und Wiseman sind jeweils mit einer Soyuz zur ISS geflogen. Und deshalb hatte ich immer so ein bisschen geguckt, von wegen sehe ich einen ESA-Astronauten, also Luca Parmitano haben wir gesehen. Europa ist auch mit an Bord. Es ist nicht nur Kanada, es ist nicht nur die JAXA. Europa stellt den größten Einzelbeitrag außerhalb der USA. Also Artemis ist ja ein NASA-Programm. Der Hauptteil wird von der NASA finanziert, darf man immer nicht vergessen. Und es ist eine coole Sache, dass sie andere Nationen diesmal mitnehmen. Bisher waren ja nur Amerikaner am Mond und auf dem Mond. Und diesmal wurde die Entscheidung getroffen, dass man auch andere Nationen mitnimmt. Und damit ist Hansen das erste Zeichen, ein Kanadier, der dann als erstes über den niedrigen Erdorbit hinauskommen wird. Und ja, die ESA liefert das Servicemodul für Artemis II. Artemis I war auch von der ESA. Also alle Servicemodule des Artemis-Programms, die Orion zum Mond tragen, werden von europäischer Technik und europäischem Ingenieursgeist getragen. Und das ist schon so erwähnenswert, dass sogar heute in der Pressekonferenz genannt wurde. Und da kann Europa stolz drauf sein und führt auch dazu, dass auf jeden Fall Europa mit 3 Flügen, sind glaube ich mittlerweile vereinbart, mit dabei ist und hoffentlich auch eine europäische Mondlandung, also dass ein Europäer den Mond betreten kann. Und das ist ein anderer Geist als, sage ich jetzt mal, in den 60er, 70er Jahren, wo es wirklich darum ging, Space Race und Amerika setzt irgendwo eine Flagge, sondern ist jetzt schon viel glaubhafter und auch mehr Geist, wir als Menschheit gehen dahin. Ich habe bei Apollo nicht das Gefühl, dass es nur die Amerikaner waren. Für mich ist es eine Menschheitsleistung und trotzdem ist es ein sehr, sehr cooles Zeichen und eine coole Zeit, dass eben jetzt nicht nur eine Nation fliegt, sondern dass man mehr auch lebt, von wegen, wenn die Menschheit zusammenarbeitet, dann kann sie großartige Dinge tun. Und ich sage immer von wegen, ja, die NASA bezahlt die Shows eigentlich hauptsächlich, aber durch diesen internationalen Charakter und diesen politischen Charakter, dass dann man andere Nationen mit reinnimmt, das ist auch eine Lebensversicherung für das Artemis-Programm, weil dadurch die Politik global auch für dieses Projekt begeistert wird. Und das ist nicht einfach nur ein Gönnertum, sondern das braucht auch das Artemis-Programm, würde ich so ein bisschen sagen. Ich finde es sind großartige Zeiten, um am Leben zu sein und irgendwie sich für Raumfahrt zu interessieren, weil jetzt passieren wieder diese abgefahrene Dinge, wo wir große Sprünge machen. Ne? Ist jetzt nicht, dass auf der ISS keine Grundlagenforschung und Forschung gemacht wird, die über alles hinausgeht, was es vorher irgendwie gab, aber das ist schwer natürlich zu vermitteln. Während wenn man sagt, wir wollen eine Basis auf dem Mond etablieren, eine Raumstation am Mond, also diese Dinge, die es vorher nicht gab, und man kann mitfiebern, ob das klappt und wie es dahin geht, wie die Programme laufen, wo vielleicht Technik sich ändert, wo es Verzögerungen gibt, weil es eben Sachen vielleicht zum ersten Mal ausprobiert werden. Das ist halt das, was Raumfahrt spannend macht und was einem Kanal, der sich wie Senkrechtstarter viel mit Technik beschäftigt und mit den Detaillösungen, die man sich für die Raumfahrt eben ausdenken muss, weil es so verdammt schwierig ist. Darf man ja nicht vergessen, ne? Da draußen kann einen alles killen. Strahlung, Vakuum des Weltalls, Temperatur und da muss man richtig, richtig viele krasse Probleme lösen und das macht Raumfahrt, finde ich, so unheimlich spannend und da sind auch viele, viele, viele Dinge abgefallen, die der gesamten Menschheit genutzt haben und dazu geführt haben, von wegen, dass es der gesamten Menschheit besser geht. Das ist jetzt nicht so von wegen, man hört ja öfter diese Geschichte, ja, für was machen wir eigentlich Raumfahrt? Und das ist ähnlich mit der Grundlagenforschung, oft weiß man das gar nicht und während man unterwegs ist, findet man dann diese Perlen oder diese Dinge, die allen Menschen zugutekommen. Und ich freue mich für meinen Sohn, dass ich ihm erzählen kann, von wegen, ja, an deinem so und so vierten Geburtstag, da ist das und das passiert und haben uns als Menschheit wieder entschieden, diese Sprünge zu machen. Und ich hoffe, euch geht's auch so und ihr genießt das, auch selbst wenn es vielleicht Dinge gibt, die einem besorgen oder wo man denkt, oh Gott, wir sind nicht auf dem richtigen Weg und wo soll das weiter hingehen? Solche Leuchtturmprojekte, die führen dazu, zumindest bei mir, dass ich optimistisch in die Zukunft schaue und denke von wegen, Mensch, die Menschheit, wenn sie sich zusammenreißt, dann kann die Unglaubliches leisten. Und ich glaube, damit würde ich euch dann auch in den Rest der Woche entlassen und euch einen schönen Nachmittag wünschen, einen schönen Abend und freut euch auf eine unglaubliche Zukunft der Raumfahrt. Vielen, vielen Dank an den Chat für das interessierte Teilen eurer Erlebnisse, wie ihr den Apollo-Moment erlebt habt zum Beispiel, also den echten Apollo-Moment und aber auch, wie wir jetzt zusammen den Apollo-Moment erleben. Vielen, vielen Dank an die Mods, die den Chat moderiert haben und natürlich ganz, 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 ganz großen Dank an alle, die mich regelmäßig unterstützen, an die Schutzengel, die eine Patreon-Mitgliedschaft machen oder eine YouTube-Kanal-Mitgliedschaft oder in den Live-Chats Spenden dalassen, weil ihr helft mit, diesen Kanal zu betreiben und ja auch den deutschen Sprachraum für Raumfahrt zu begeistern. Ich glaube, da haben wir noch ganz, ganz, ganz viel Arbeit vor uns und aber wenn es einfach wäre, wäre es ja auch langweilig. Ne? Ich würde sagen, immer schön senkrecht bleiben. Bis ganz, ganz bald. Euer Mo.